Someone wealthy wants to marry you. Their name starts with. See this before it gets deleted. My beloved child, listen carefully, don't skip this message, because there is a name connected to your future that you may have never expected to hear. Someone with influence, stability, and significant financial success may already have their attention on you, and what makes this story unusual is that they are not simply curious about you. They have been thinking seriously about what life could look like with you. There is something they have noticed about your character that money cannot buy and status cannot manufacture. They see something rare in you. And before this message reaches its final words, we are going to uncover the strange clues surrounding their name, the reason they have been watching your journey from a distance, and why marriage has entered their thoughts. There is a moment coming when you may hear a familiar name in an unexpected conversation, see a particular initial repeatedly, or suddenly encounter someone whose presence feels strangely significant. Do not assume every coincidence is destiny, but do pay attention to patterns that encourage you to reflect on what you truly want. Sometimes the biggest changes begin quietly, without announcements, without dramatic entrances, and without warning. A person can enter your life through an ordinary meeting and later become connected to one of the most extraordinary chapters of your story. That is why you should listen carefully to the details of this message. The person connected to this message is not necessarily wealthy because they want everyone to know it. In fact, their wealth may be one of the things they rarely discuss. They may dress simply, speak calmly, and keep their personal life private. Their success could come from business, investments, property, technology, leadership, family enterprises, or years of disciplined work. They understand that money can create comfort, but it cannot automatically create loyalty, peace, trust, or genuine companionship. And that is exactly why you have caught their attention. They have noticed something about you that is difficult to explain. Perhaps it is the way you continue moving forward after disappointment. Perhaps it is your ability to care deeply without needing applause. Perhaps they have watched you handle situations that would have made someone else bitter, yet somehow you continue to hope. There is strength in that. There is something attractive about a person who has experienced difficulty without allowing difficulty to destroy their heart. This person may have encountered you through a surprisingly ordinary situation. It could have been through work, a mutual connection, an online interaction, a family introduction, a social gathering, a business environment, or even a brief conversation that seemed meaningless at the time. You may not have realized how closely they were paying attention. You may have walked away thinking it was simply another interaction, while they walked away thinking, there is something different about this person. And that thought stayed with them. They may have tried to ignore it at first. People who have achieved financial success often become accustomed to controlling many parts of their lives. They plan. They calculate. They analyze. They make decisions carefully. But attraction is not always logical. Sometimes a person appears who cannot be reduced to a calculation. They begin wondering why they are thinking about you during quiet moments. They wonder why your words remain in their mind. They wonder why they feel unusually comfortable imagining you beside them. Then something even more surprising happened. They began imagining a future. Not just a date. Not just a romantic conversation. A future. They imagined waking up beside you. They imagined introducing you to people who matter to them. They imagined traveling together, building something together, sharing meals, celebrating achievements, and having someone beside them when the public attention disappeared and the doors closed behind them. They imagined the private version of happiness, not the version people post online, but the quiet version that exists when nobody is watching. And that is when marriage may have entered their thoughts. You might ask, why me? That question is important. Because perhaps you have become accustomed to underestimating your own value. Perhaps you have experienced people who noticed what you could give but failed to appreciate who you were. Perhaps previous relationships taught you to question whether someone could genuinely choose you without conditions. But the person connected to this message may be looking at you from a completely different perspective. They are not only seeing your appearance. They are noticing your presence. They are noticing your emotional intelligence. They are noticing your resilience. They are noticing how you treat people when you have nothing to gain. And to someone who has spent years surrounded by people who want something from them, genuine character can become priceless. This person may have experienced people approaching them because of their money. They may have questioned whether someone loved them or simply loved the lifestyle attached to them. They may have become cautious because financial success attracts attention from people with hidden motives. That could be one reason they have not rushed toward you. They want to know whether you see the person behind the success. They want to know whether you would still respect them if the money disappeared. They want to know whether you would remain loyal during difficult seasons. And strangely enough, something about you may have given them hope. You may have never asked them for anything. You may have never tried to impress them. You may have treated them like an ordinary human being. And that can be incredibly powerful. Now let us talk about the name. There may be a particular initial that keeps appearing around this situation. Perhaps the name begins with A. Perhaps it begins with M. Maybe it is S, R, J, D, K, T, or another letter entirely. The important thing is not to force a random initial onto someone. Instead, treat the initial as a symbolic clue and remain open to the person who actually demonstrates the qualities described here. Because the right person will not need a mysterious letter to prove their identity. Their actions will reveal them. Their consistency will reveal them. Their respect will reveal them. Their intentions will reveal them. And when this person approaches, you will not need to convince yourself that they are wealthy, important, or destined for you. Their behavior will give you enough information to make your own decision. But there is another reason their approach may surprise you. They may not look like the kind of person you imagined. You might expect someone flashy, loud, surrounded by luxury, constantly showing their success. Instead, they could be extremely composed. They could be private. They could be the person sitting quietly in the room while everyone else is trying to be noticed. Their confidence may be subtle. They do not need to announce what they have because their life already demonstrates it. And there is something else. They may have already asked someone about you. Not in a strange or invasive way, but through a trusted connection. They may have wanted to know whether you were available, what kind of person you are, what you value, and whether you are interested in marriage. They may be trying to understand whether there is a genuine possibility before making a serious move. This person does not want to embarrass themselves. They do not want to approach you carelessly. They want to know that the door is at least slightly open. That is why the first step may be subtle. A message. An introduction. An invitation. A conversation that suddenly becomes more personal. A friend saying, "There is someone I think you should meet." Something ordinary may become the doorway to something extraordinary. And you may initially underestimate it. You may think, "This is nothing." But then you notice the consistency. They keep finding reasons to talk to you. They remember small details. They ask questions about your future. They listen when you speak. They do not rush you. They respect your boundaries. And slowly, you begin realizing that this is not casual attention. There is intention behind it. There is one thing this person may admire more than anything else. Your independence. Even if you have experienced seasons when you felt financially uncertain, emotionally exhausted, or unsure about your direction, they may see that you have a strong inner identity. You are not waiting for someone wealthy to rescue you. You want someone who can walk beside you. That distinction matters. Because healthy love is not one person saving another. It is two people choosing to build together. Your future spouse may be financially successful, but their greatest gift may not be their wealth. Their greatest gift may be stability. The ability to create peace. The willingness to communicate. The maturity to make decisions together. The courage to protect the relationship from unnecessary outside interference. And perhaps that is exactly what you have been waiting for. Not luxury. Security. Not expensive gifts. Consistency. Not someone who says, "I can give you everything." Someone who says, "I will stand beside you when life becomes difficult." There may also be an interesting obstacle. This person could be hesitant because of their past. They may have been disappointed in love before. They may have experienced betrayal. They may have trusted someone who later revealed different intentions. That experience made them guarded. They learned to keep their emotions behind a wall. But you may have touched something behind that wall without even trying. And now they are struggling with a decision. Do they stay safe? Or do they risk being vulnerable again? That is why their behavior may seem confusing at first. One day they seem very interested. The next day they become quiet. Then they return. This does not automatically mean games. Sometimes it means someone is wrestling with fear. But remember this. Fear may explain someone's behavior, but it does not excuse unhealthy behavior. If they truly want a future with you, eventually they must communicate clearly. You deserve clarity. You deserve respect. You deserve someone who can say what they want without making you decode every little sign. So if this wealthy person appears in your life, do not be dazzled by the money. Look deeper. Ask yourself how you feel around them. Do you feel respected? Do you feel safe? Do you feel heard? Can you disagree without being punished? Can you speak honestly? Do they respect your independence? Do they treat people well when those people have nothing to offer them? These questions matter more than their bank account. Because wealth can change. Character is what determines whether a marriage survives the changes. And perhaps the person connected to this message already understands that. They may have everything money can purchase and still feel that something is missing. They can buy beautiful things, but they cannot purchase genuine affection. They can stay in luxurious places, but they cannot buy the feeling of coming home to someone who truly understands them. They can attend impressive events, but they cannot purchase a peaceful conversation with the person they love. And they may be realizing that what they want now is not more wealth. They want meaning. They want partnership. They want family. They want someone whose presence makes success feel worthwhile. That may be why your energy has become so memorable to them. You represent something they cannot manufacture. Authenticity. And now imagine the moment they finally tell you. They may not begin with a dramatic proposal. They may simply say, "I have been thinking about us." And suddenly the conversation becomes serious. They may tell you that they have watched you from a distance. They may explain that they respect your character. They may admit that they have been afraid to approach you because they did not want you to misunderstand their intentions. Then they may say something that surprises you. "I don't want something temporary." That sentence could change everything. Because you may have spent years wondering whether someone would finally choose you with certainty. And now someone is approaching with intention. But remember, do not rush. Let the relationship develop naturally. Let their actions match their words. Let time reveal their character. A proposal is beautiful, but a healthy marriage is built long before the proposal. It is built through conversations. Through patience. Through respect. Through difficult decisions. Through forgiveness. Through teamwork. Through choosing one another even when life is not perfect. So when the person arrives, do not ask only, "How much do they have?" Ask, "Who are they when nobody is watching?" That answer will tell you more than any number ever could. And there is another beautiful possibility here. This person may help you discover a new version of yourself. Not because you need them to become valuable, but because healthy love can create space for growth. When you feel secure, you may become more creative. More confident. More peaceful. More willing to pursue dreams you once postponed. They may encourage you to build something of your own. They may support your goals. They may say, "What do you want?" And instead of telling you what your life should look like, they may help create space for you to discover it. That is partnership. That is what matters. And if the initial you have been noticing turns out to belong to this person, remember not to force the connection. Let reality confirm what intuition suggested. Maybe you keep seeing the letter because it is meaningful. Maybe it is simply coincidence. Either way, you do not lose anything by remaining open while staying grounded. The right person will become clear through real-life evidence. You will not need to depend entirely on signs. You will know because they show up. They communicate. They respect you. They make their intentions clear. They introduce you to their world. They make room for you. And eventually, they may ask the question that changes everything. Will you marry me? When that moment comes, Perhaps you will remember all the nights when you wondered whether love would ever become peaceful for you. You will remember the disappointments, the unanswered messages, the relationships that taught you difficult lessons, the moments when you wondered whether you were simply asking for too much. And then you will realize something. You were not asking for too much. You were asking for the right things from the wrong people. You wanted consistency. You wanted loyalty. You wanted respect. You wanted someone who could see beyond the surface. And now someone may be approaching who understands those things. But even then, choose carefully. A wealthy person is not automatically a good spouse. A wealthy person is simply wealthy. Character is separate. Love is separate. Compatibility is separate. Trust is separate. So let the person prove themselves. Let them earn access to your heart. Let the relationship become real before you turn it into a fantasy. And if they truly are the person this message is pointing toward, they will not be offended by your wisdom. They will respect it. They will admire it. They will understand that you are not impressed by money alone. You are looking for something money cannot buy. Peace. Loyalty. Truth. And a love that survives ordinary days. That may be the greatest surprise of all. The wealthy person may not be entering your life simply to change your financial situation. They may be entering to change your understanding of what healthy love can feel like. And perhaps you will teach them something too. You may teach them that not everyone wants their money. That someone can appreciate them without being impressed by their status. That vulnerability is not weakness. That home is not a building. Home is a person you can finally be yourself around. So if this message found you at the right moment, take a deep breath. Do not chase the initial. Do not chase the fantasy. Do not chase wealth. Chase truth. Choose character. Choose peace. And allow the right person to reveal themselves through their actions. Maybe their name starts with a letter you have already been noticing. Maybe it starts with a letter you never expected. Maybe the person has not even entered your life yet. Whatever happens, remember that your future does not depend on decoding one mysterious initial. Your future depends on the choices you make and the people you allow close to your heart. And perhaps the most beautiful ending is not simply that someone wealthy wants to marry you. It is that someone may finally want to marry you for the person you are, not for what you can provide, not for how you look, not for what others think, but for the peace they feel when they are with you. One day, you may sit across from this person and realize that their wealth was never the most important thing about them. Their heart was. Their integrity was. Their ability to love you consistently was. And you may look back at this season and smile because you once thought the biggest miracle would be finding someone successful. But the real miracle was finding someone successful enough to understand that love itself is the greatest form of wealth. So keep your heart open, but keep your wisdom awake. Do not settle because someone has money. Do not reject someone simply because they have it. Look at the person behind the success. Listen to their words. Watch their actions. And let time reveal what excitement cannot. If someone is truly meant to build a life with you, they will not simply promise you a beautiful future. They will participate in creating it. They will show up. They will communicate. They will protect your dignity. They will respect your dreams. They will choose you in public and in private. And when life becomes difficult, they will not disappear. That is the person worth saying yes to. So perhaps the name begins with the letter you have been seeing. Perhaps the sign appears through an unexpected introduction. Perhaps the first conversation is closer than you think. But do not let the mystery become more important than the message. The message is simple. You are worthy of being chosen with intention. You are worthy of a love that is not confusing. You are worthy of a partner who sees your value beyond appearances. And if someone wealthy enters your life wanting marriage, let them prove that their greatest possession is not their money, but their character. Because the most beautiful proposal will not be the one surrounded by diamonds, luxury, or cameras. It will be the one where someone looks into your eyes and says, I have seen enough of life to know what matters. And I choose you. And when that moment comes, you will understand why some doors closed. Why certain relationships failed. Why some people walked away. Why some chapters had to end. Because they were making room for a love that does not need to be chased. A love that arrives with clarity. A love that grows with patience. A love that chooses you freely. And perhaps, somewhere right now, a person whose name begins with that mysterious letter is already thinking about the possibility of making you there forever. But let them come. Let them speak. Let them prove it. And when they finally stand before you with a serious heart and a clear intention, remember this final truth. You were never waiting for someone's wealth to make you valuable. And when they finally stand before you with a serious heart and a clear intention, remember this final truth. You were never waiting for someone's wealth to make you valuable. You were waiting for someone wise enough to recognize the value that was already there. And if that person truly exists, their greatest gift will not be the life they can buy for you. It will be the life they are willing to build with you. That is where the Real story begins.